Welcome to the Tim Weichelbaum Show. This is the Tim Weichelbaum Show, and I am the Tim Weichelbaum Show. It is episode 117th. I am Tim Weichelbaum, and we're going to start the show on the first topic of the show. Jeffrey Epstein. Now, actually, we're going to check in first. So it's been a while since I've done this, and I haven't done this in a while. So that's that. Okay, so back to the show. So Jeffrey Epstein just died in 2019, but I'm covering it now because I haven't gotten to it yet because a lot of other people that were more important died, and he's not that important. So we're not going to actually talk about that because I don't care about that because I don't believe that there's anything to talk about with that because this is not a serious show. If this was a serious show, then maybe I would have something to say about that. If somebody was like sitting me down and asking me for real, so what do you think about Jeffrey Epstein? About the files? Here's what I would say if this was a serious show. I would say a lot of people are perverted and have money and power, and they act and they put those things together, and it turns into a nice little bow. Turns into a nice little present for Christmas. So it is the holiday season. We're going to be celebrating that later on by singing some Christmas songs. I was just warming up, as you could tell by my warmed up gravelly voice, as it would need to be to sing Christmas songs. You can't sing Christmas songs in a smooth voice that's not gravelly and broken. So I was doing that. We're going to do that. I'll give you a little preview. Rocking around. All right, so that's the preview of that part of the show. That's coming up in about 45 minutes, so stick ahead for that. So stick with it for that. We just have to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not going to do a joke about how we're going to talk about him for 20 minutes. Yeah, let's just talk about Jeffrey Epstein for 20 minutes. Is not the joke I'm going to do. We're going to just go right through it for about 2 minutes. So I don't really have anything serious to say about that, but that's what my serious answer would be if I was on a serious talk show where I was being interrogated. Interior design? Interrogate. I didn't change my shirt for this, so it's going to be Dandruff if we're exported in 4K. We're recorded in 4K, but if we export in 1080p, you're not going to see the dandruff. So, and also, I didn't comb my hair. I didn't brush my hair. I cleaned my hair. I didn't shampoo my hair or nothing for this, so it's going to be a lot of dirtiness and unhygienicness. But we're gonna export this in 720p, so you're not gonna see any of that. But the voice is gonna be in 320 kilobits per second wave. It's gonna be FLAC. You're gonna hear every gravelly bit of voice going into this signal chain. This signal chain today is a AKG. Well, actually, it's a Stedman. It's going through a Stedman Pro screen 101, and then it goes into a ULS 8KG 414, and it's going down a cable that's just a generic. It's just some generic cable that's going into some preamp that's a standalone preamp, and that's going into a compressor that's a L8. What do they call it? I forgot what they call these compressors. It's Empirical Labs L8X, but they're called something else. They're not called that. Oh yeah, distressor. It's called a distressor. That's why my voice sounds like this. It's because it's going through a distressor and a preamp that is for Christmas music. I bought it just to record Christmas music, just for my vocals. It's a single channel box, lunch box, and it has a blue light, and it was modified in Japan to use a vintage Neve style. It has real Neve parts in it, and they're called transformers. So it has vintage 1980s transformers, but it doesn't matter because we're going to actually export this as an MP3 in 48 kilobits, so it's not going to sound good. So that's the signal chain, and that's going into it's going into a converter, into audio digital converter or analog ADC converter. It's going into an interface that is a Fireface UFX3. And it's overkill for what I'm using it for. I'm not even using it for anything important at all. So I'm using a very nice interface to record through a very nice signal chain. And doesn't sound that good, to be honest, to me. You would get the same quality out of spending about $300 through a USB mic. Because, what is it? It wouldn't sound any better, any worse. And it's 48 kilohertz or whatever. What do you call it? 48K? 48 hertz. 48,000 hertz. So anyway, if somebody sat me down and said, okay, Jeffrey Epstein, what do you got to say? What do you got to say about that? I would apologize for him. I would be no one defends that guy. It's like, everyone just thinks, oh, well, let's pile on this guy. No, if you were in his position as a financier and you had $900 million and all this, forget the money. He had power and clout he was a social light. I don't know if he was that. He was a social influencer. I mean, he had influence over socialism. And that's why Bill Gates was friends. I mean, he had influence. He was a social person. He had social power. And some people have disease. Not disease. Let's not say anything bad about him. Not a lot of people defend the guy, and I'm not defending him. I'm defending not his acts. I'm defending his psychology, not his behavior. Because everybody has perverted behavior. Not like that. Not everybody has that type of perverted. So I'm not even really going to defend his behavior, but let's just pretend that it's all about the psychology, which it is. Let's not pretend. This is about a psychology, and if you have a lot of access, back in the day, they didn't really shame you for acting on it as much. They just thought, oh, that's kind of cool that he is able to act on his perverted interests. They didn't really care. It was a crime, but that's it. It was just a crime. Nobody had there's no social negativity. You didn't lose friends over it. There's okay, yeah, that's what you could do. That's what a lot of people would want to do if they could. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying back then it was only a crime. It was only a slap on the wrist if you got caught, which he did somehow. What an idiot. Don't know how he got. I mean, the fact that he got caught. He must have really been doing some obvious grisly. He must have been bragging about it, which of course he was. And so he got caught. But as a slap on the wrist, he got back in the saddle, and he got right back to it, and then he got caught again. So I don't, okay, so he didn't really know what he was doing. He was not slick. This was an easy time to get caught. Let's say it was the 60s or even the 80s. It was not the 80s, it was the 2000s. So he only got caught because of email technology or some shit like that. He got spied on, somebody ratted him out. He got caught, he went to jail. And so do we care about the files and who else was doing that stuff with him? Yeah, no, because it was back when no one cared. And they don't do it anymore. Trump clearly was in the files. He's clearly in the files. He sucked off somebody. He did some nefarious things. Now we consider them nefarious, but back 20 years ago, that's just like what rich people did. They were able to manipulate and use their power to do sex crimes. And they just go, yeah, that's what elite people do. They golf and they do stuff to kids or teenagers, however young. I don't know if they were actually kids. I mean, let's not accuse them of doing something that they didn't do. If it was just teenagers, that's still a sex crime. But I'm just saying, the times have changed. The times have changed where socially, it was just like, yeah, that they like them young. If you had the option of going young, you would have done that if you were in their shoes. You're not. If you're listening to this, you're not the elite. I'm just sorry to burst the bubble on that, but you're not the elite. When was the last time you've been in a hot air balloon? Exactly. So you're not the elite, so you don't really know how to sympathize or empathize with the elite. So I'm just saying, people like them young. They still do. They just don't admit it. And it's not socially, it's just socially frowned upon. But biologically, the urges would, if there was no social repercussions, you would be probably into 16-year-olds or younger. Yes, but you're not in the position to have an opinion on this. You can't say, oh no, I wouldn't, but you're not a millionaire. And by millionaire, I don't mean like 100,000. I don't mean you have like $2 million. No, that's broke. You're not even rich enough to even understand me. No. You have to be like an actual millionaire, as in 800 million. That's what counts as millionaire these days. You gotta have at least 800 million to call yourself a millionaire. The verbiage has changed. The vernacular has changed. If you call yourself a millionaire and you only have like 45 million, no, you're 100,000-aire. You're a thousandaire who has a couple zeros after the thousand. You're $45,000. You know. Use thousands as the unit. You can't say million if you're only worth 45. How many thousands is that? Say that number. You're worth $450,000. Okay. Let me do the math. So not to defend these scumbags, but I'm not. I'm doing simple financial math. It's to show you that economically speaking, the times you're not a millionaire. If you're watching this, I'm sorry to say, you're not a millionaire. So 45 million is how many thousands? I'll tell you. It's 45,000. So just say that. If you're worth 45 million, you're not a millionaire. You're a 45,000-thousandaire. You have $45,000. That's how many times you could spend $1,000. 45,000 times before you're broke. That ain't a millionaire. That's a thousandaire. 45,000 times. Are we on the same page? Good. Do the math. If you're worth $1 million, that only means you got 1,000 thousands to your name. Dude, I'm sorry, man. Sorry. You're only a thousandaire. You're only worth 1,000 thousand. Let's get this cord out of the way. So what do I got to say about that? Nothing. I don't give a... So is Trump guilty? Yes, but he's only got 3 more years. Who gives a crap? He's 85 years old. He's going to be 85. By the time he gets out of office, who do we care what he did 25 years ago with Bill Clinton and Ed, the guy who owns Microsoft, who sold out of Microsoft, who couldn't be on the board anymore? He's not even on the chair. He's not even a chairman. Bill Gates is not even on the chair. He's not a chairman anymore. He's not even in a chair at the Microsoft anymore. He just lives in a big-ass house on a river. And he's not even... He's barely a billionaire. He's only worth like 100 billion or 200 billion. That's not a billionaire anymore. That's only 200. That's only 2,000 million. No, that's only 200,000 million, dude. Okay. So, do I have anything bad to say about these people? No, they're dead. They're half dead. Yeah, they did some horrible, creepy, nefarious, but they got paid. They paid the price. They went to jail. They killed themselves. Bill Gates killed him. He's alive. Yeah, he's alive, but you can't be alive and call yourself alive if you're only that alive. He's not alive. He's barely alive. Yeah, he's alive, but he's not popular anymore is what I'm trying to say. He has no clout. Yeah, he's going to be alive. He could live for another 30 years for all I know. But I'm not even talking about his age. I'm just saying his stature has diminished. Yeah, he's alive. But he's basically killed himself by selling out of Microsoft stock. He could have been worth $1 trillion if he just held on to Microsoft stock. He sold his stock He listened to some idiot. I'm not saying that as a euphemism for Yiddish person. I'm not slandering Yiddish speakers. But some idiot told him, hey, you should diversify. I don't know if it was Buffett. That Buffett head guy, the parrot head guy in Nebraska. I don't know if it was that guy. He said, you should diversify your stock. Yeah, that's how. Yeah. He diversified, and now he's only worth $200,000 million. What a loser! And barely a billionaire, barely scraping by. Zuckerberg is too young to even be in the mix of this shit. And everyone hates him. He hasn't even banged anyone. He's fucking 14. He's legal. He hasn't even done anything illegal. He just stole people's privacy information, which they handed over, so it's not even illegal. Yeah, stole. He didn't steal nothing. You signed up, and then he sold it to other parties because that's legal. It's in the terms of service. You could turn off your privacy settings, you dumbass. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to these people that were hating on him for being a billionaire and for stealing. No, you gave it to him, and if you don't want that privacy shared with your dumb friends, you can just press a little button and it doesn't share it anymore. You could delete your data from Facebook and it's gone. It's not that hard. He's not that evil. Yeah, when you add it all up and he has access to 400 billion people's information, that adds up to what seems like a lot of information. But it's a bunch of losers. What information does he have? Oh, whose friends they are and when they were born and their hobbies and pictures of their dog and when they went on vacation. Oh, the pictures I took. That's not worth shite. That's not worth anything. That's worth about 45,000. It's not worth anything. He sold it to, he made money from advertisers. He hadn't even broke the law. People, he went to trial. He went to some stupid hearing where they grilled him, and he's on a booster seat, and he's like, yeah, you could just turn that shit off, And nothing happened. He didn't get fined. He went straight on to the next project. Everyone thinks he's evil for doing a website that you signed up for because it's cool. People that hate Zuckerberg, I don't know. I hate them. They're not even good enough to hate. Have you noticed how a lot of people on the YouTube internet or wherever they go to post these YouTube essays, these video essays of how these famous people are scumbags? Yeah, they're scumbags because they got personalities. You don't. That's why you're the one producing the video, because you don't have a personality that anyone can hate. Yeah, no one can hate you. No one could love you or hate you because you're just a generic NPC numbered 990,000. 0.0. And we could just round down to nothing. You're just okay, but I'm not trying to be hateful because that's what they do. They could hate. I don't have the capacity to hate because I'm too interesting to do that. If you're actually one of the people that are hated on, you don't hate anybody. You're too interesting to waste your time. So you have something else. You have fuel that propels you to be cool instead of hating people. I got to take a drink of water. I'm talking to you. So I'm not cool enough to be hated, but if I was, it would be because I'm cool and have a cool personality. I don't know. Like I don't get why people put so much investment into becoming fans of people like Louis C.K. and then they get disappointed when they find out that he's an asshole, narcissist who uses people and takes his, private parts out. I don't get why people all of a sudden go, whoa, now I have to do a video essay that's 4 parts long about how I used to love this guy. It's like, he's more interesting than you. Sorry that he let you down. I mean, that's what happens if you're interesting. You use people, you take your dick out, you live life. You don't just make YouTube video. I mean, I like the YouTube video essays. I learn a lot from them. Nothing is what I meant. I don't learn nothing from them, but they are entertaining and they fill time. And I don't know, they do rub you the right way. When you don't like a celebrity and you watch one of these YouTube videos about them that's 4 hours long, it's like, yeah, no, it's like jerking off. It's like porn. And I enjoy to say it, but these guys are porn addicts. These people making these video essays are the new pornographers, man. That's a band, isn't it? Is that a band? Whatever happened to that band? The new porn. They're on tour. They're coming to my town in May. I'm not waiting till May. I'm going to forget about them by then. I'm going to forget about them. But the new pornographers are these jerk-offs that make videos on YouTube for people to jerk off to that are anti-celebrity. And it's worth it for some people. Some celebrities deserve it, but not most of them. Most people that became celebrities, they did so because they were cool. Sorry to burst your... But they were cool, man. Every celebrity, for the most part, they're celebrities because they're cool. Even the uncool ones, like Elon Musk. I don't want to toot his horn, but he's the least cool person I've ever seen, I've ever met. He's the least cool seeming, from what I gather from seeing him interact with everybody I've ever seen him everybody ever. He's not cool. He's not funny. But he's cool because he's Elon Musk, and I can't defend Elon Musk. He's such a douchebag, but he's such an obnoxious. I don't hate him, but I just don't like him that much. X, the platform, is the most toxic. Just has this douche quality to it. Everyone on there is a douche. But it's my favorite platform because you do learn a lot of cool stuff. It's like, that's where everything is. If you want to know what's going on, and that's where you go. If you want to know anything cool going on in technology, that's it. You'll go on there and you'll find out the latest stuff about technology and scientific research if you're into that. That's it, though. That's all it's good for. It kills your brain cells. It just going on there, you could just feel your brain. You just feel the meaning in your life go down the drain. You could have been super interested in your own life, but then you go on X, and it's like, what is all this garbage that's going on in the world, man? People are better than me. People are worse than me. I'm somewhere, I'm not even in the conversation yet. So I was doing stuff before this that I liked. And then you don't want to be doing well on there, I don't think. Do you? Is that where meaning comes from? From an algorithm? No. Not for me. I would if I knew. If I could have an algorithm just run my life and give me meaning, maybe I would do that by now. Maybe I would find that meaningful and fulfilling. But I don't know. I've never had success with an algorithm, so I don't know. I'm not trying. I create algorithms. I like being the guy that creates algorithms. That's why I like Zuckerberg so much. That's why I like all these people I talked about. I do have admiration for all these people that I talk shit about today. Not Jeff Epstein. He's a little bit of gray area. I don't know what's to really admire about him other than his tenacity. But off camera, ask me my real opinion. I'll say, yeah, he's admirable. You just can't say that in public because people will take it out of context. They'll think that I condone his behavior. No, I'm talking about before all that shit. I'm talking about before he got caught. I'm not saying I admire him for doing the sex crimes. I'm saying I just like him for he was cool. Nobody really says that. Nobody gives him credit for it. No one gives him credit for that. He's a pretty cool guy. And I see him, I see myself in him. I'm not saying I want to become him. I'm saying smart, great minds. Okay, let's get off the subject of Epstein because we covered it. I said I wasn't going to spend 20 minutes on this guy, and it's been 25. So let's move on to the next subject, which is Christmas. It is Christmas time. It's December 8th, 7th at the time of this recording. But by the time it comes out, it will still be... By the time I'm done recording this, it might be the 8th of December. I might record for a whole day. I might record until the next day even. I might record until December 10th. So we don't actually know what date it is when this is being recorded. It could be multiple dates. Even after it comes out, I might still be recording. That's possible, you know. You could technically edit a video while it's still being recorded. It's not impossible. You just splice it off, but don't stop the record. I could edit this while recording and put it out and still be recording. That's the technology that exists in reality on this universe, which doesn't have a name. Have you noticed that? It's just called the universe. We haven't even named it. How stupid is that? We have this big universe. It's the biggest thing in the world. It's so big, it's even bigger than the world. And we don't have it. We have the solar system. Okay, yeah, that's creative, right? Has the word system in it. We couldn't do better than that. We couldn't just call it solarism, something with the word solar in it. That's cooler than just the solar system. No, that's the most clinical. It sounds like it was named by like some Stephen Hawking guy. Not to diminish, not to make fun of him because he's in a wheelchair his whole life. But it sounds like it was named by somebody who's not very fun to be around. So it's called the solar system. That's what you're calling the biggest thing that we know about besides the Milky Way? The Milky Way, it was a slam dunk. That's an actual name. The solar system. That's like calling the Amazon River a bunch of rivers. Yeah, it's a river system in Brazil. Yeah, it's the Brazilian river system. The solar system? So the Milky Way, that was a slam dunk. And it was named after a candy. So that's pretty, they had to pay royalties. I don't know if that's how it works for the whole galaxy, if they have to pay licensing fees to Mars. That's another copyright infringement right there. Mars. Also, they stole the name from the Mars Candy Company. So that's two big ways that company makes a ton of money. First from a little planet, and then from the whole galaxy. So let's look that up. So Mars Corporation, Mars Incorporated, it's called Mars Inc. So they're a multinational, but I mean, is that accurate? They own the whole, they're named after, the galaxy stole their whole, they are still in business, but they're private, of course. So you can't invest in, there's always a stupid roadblock anytime you want to invest in something good. Oh, it's a private company. You got to be Jeff Epstein, not to go back to that topic. But is it my fault that he happened to be an influential person? Of course he had access to the private equity market. Of course Jeffrey Epstein could invest in Mars Inc. And then he'd get a royalty fee paid from the whole galaxy because of Milky. I don't even know if they own Milky Way. Who owns Milky Way chocolate? Not the galaxy. It's Mars. I was right. So Mars owns Milky Way, so therefore the galaxy has to pay them a lot of money, man. But the whole galaxy? How many lawyers do they got at the opposite end of the galaxy? How do they communicate with with these Jew bag lawyers on the other side. I'm assuming they're Jewish. How do they sue people for infringing on the Milky Way name when they might not even call it that? First of all, they might not even call. Do they know on the other side of the? Do aliens know? 200,000 light years away, however long away it is, on the other side of the galaxy, that we even call it the Milky Way. Is that the universal name for the whole galaxy? No. Of course, I'm being stupid here. I'm being stupid, just to fill time. We'll get to the Christmas. So, and then we got the big. What's bigger than the Milky Way? Well, nothing. You just call it space. You just call it intergalactic space, and then you call it galaxy clusters. The Virgo cluster, and that's it. That's the biggest thing that we've named. There's other clusters, I guess, that we've named, but do you care? No. Do we know what they're called? No. They all blend together. It's just a structure of, it just looks like a neural network, and you can't tell where one starts and one ends because it's just a smudge of what looks like neurons. It looks like a neural network. It looks like a structure, but it's just a web. It's just like, okay, let's call this the Virgo cluster. Let's call this the super cluster. But then you zoom out and there's no name for the universe. Like the universe could easily be called something cooler, like like I'm not good at thinking of names. Can't call it banana. Yeah, let's just call the whole universe Chiquita. Yeah, let's just call the whole universe U.S. Cellular Field. Let's just call the whole universe AT&T Universe. What's it? That's what we should call it, though. I mean, somebody's got to pay the bills. Somebody's got to make money from this universe. Why am I yelling? This whole time, I could have just been talking like this. Could have been not straining my voice like this whole time. I've just been using the microphone how it's meant to be used. And I'm talking more rapidly. Now I'm sounding like I'm dealing crack or something behind a bridge or under a bridge. Not behind a bridge. Hey, I'm behind a bridge. Hey, meet me under the bridge. Nah, behind the bridge. So, on the bridge would be cool. Yeah, meet me on the bridge. That's where I sell crack. People under the bridge, they do the crack. I'm on top of the bridge. I sound like some gangster. That's how I talk. I mean, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden just noticing. Well, all of a sudden I'm self-conscious of the fact that I'm talking like some guy from Casino. Like I'm from the movie Casino. Like I own a casino. Same shit. Same freaking thing, man. Who gives a crap? So we could name the universe. I don't know, man. The Lord of the Rings. Like J.R.R. Tolkien would have thought of a banger name for the universe. A banger. He would have thought of a cool name for the universe. A cool name that's timeless. Like, I like Chiquita Bananas. That's a good name for the universe. Or Nabisco. This is the Nabisco universe. It's got to be something that is corporatized, obviously, or else who's going to make the money? It's got to be a sponsorship. It's got to be a brand. I mean, Mars, that was one. Jupiter's not a brand. Somebody will start a Jupiter company at some point. They'll take it, and then they'll have to buy them. So some shit is just named after Greek dead people and Greek gods, and the universe is too big for that. They named all these constellations and stars and planets after Greek gods. Perseus, but they forgot Neptune, Pluto, but they forgot to name the whole universe. Got to think of a name for the universe. How about Coldplay? No, that's a band. It's already taken, man. Let's think of it. How about Apple? No. Jesus, just name it after the Jesus or some shit? No. That's hack. If you're naming something that big, you gotta really dream big. You know, you could just call it. I got nothing. I'm not good at improv. Like I was gonna say Del Close. But that's such an obscure reference. You're gonna name it after some improv guy? Yeah, the Del Close. No, Chris Farley universe. Well, that'd be cool. That'd be a great name for the universe. Let's just call the whole universe the Chris Farley universe. Or the Joe Rogan experience. Let's just call the whole universe the Joe Rogan experience. That'd be, hey, I don't care. We might as well. I mean, we might as well. Let's just call it. Okay, let's move on. So we're gonna keep talking for a few minutes here. Hopefully not, but seems like that's what's gonna happen. I mean, I could hope I could dream all I want. I could dream a little dream for somebody, and they could be, and they could, But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not a dreamer. I'm a liver. I live. I don't just dream. I do. I don't think. I don't talk. I don't use my brain. I don't walk. I sit and work. I'm a worky. I am an alcoholic, but I'm not doing that. I'm an alcoholic who just works instead. So I work to get drunk, and it doesn't work. It's not the same. It doesn't give you the same good feelings. It doesn't do anything. It just makes you stressed out and want to take drugs. It makes you want to drink. Makes you want to do heroin. Makes you want to shoot up. Other things besides heroin. Makes you want to die. But I'm not condoning that. Don't Jeff Epstein yourself. I mean, you can, but don't. Unless you're in a predicament. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying think about it until then. Give it a day. Unless you already have, then I don't know your situation. I'm not just saying don't do it. I don't know you. There's plenty of people I would say to do that. They won't listen, so I won't waste my breath. But I'm just saying, I'm not one way or the other. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to do that. Hey, knock yourself out. It's perfectly legal in certain parts of the world. You just got to go there. You just got to be a citizen of Sweden. And you could just jump into a suicide machine. And it's probably pretty cool. You just press the button. I don't know if they play music because it's Spotify. They probably got free Spotify because that's where Spotify is located. And I don't support. I'm not sponsored. I don't support that business. I don't endorse that company. It's losing money. It doesn't own any planets. No galaxies are paying them royalties. Nothing is named after them. It's a stupid name. What does that have to do with music? Spotify. It's tech garbage gobbledygook. And so I could have panned the camera down a little more, or whatever the word is when you go up and down on a camera. I don't know what the hell that word is. So I'm just going to go a little bit closer to the camera so that I fill the frame. And now it looks horrible. The lighting looks bad. So we're going to go back here. We're going to go back here so I'm in focus. And we're going to do another talk. We're going to talk about real life. Now we got the Jeff Epstein. We just call it, no, we're not going to call the universe the Jeff Epstein universe. But it is, he does kind of own the universe in terms of mental real estate. Everyone is thinking about him. If he was alive to see how famous he became after his death, because I don't know if you know this, he wasn't that famous before he died. He was pretty famous. But now he's way more famous, and when Trump gets out of office, no one will care because all these new people were too young. I mean, no Democrats that are cool enough to get elected, they're not old enough to have partied with them, man. Like if we get that, I forgot, that Mamdani guy, if he gets into office, he's got no record. Good or bad. You need at least a record. It's got to be something. It could be bad, but that's better than nothing. Being in the Jeff Epstein files is better than not having anything. Even uncool celebrities, they are cool. Okay, let's go back to... Even Greta Thunberg is pretty cool. She did something cool that you didn't do. That's why she gets to be famous, man. Nobody just gets famous. Yeah, okay, sometimes they do just get famous, but because they bought into it. They bought a company. They bought enough shares of a company to become famous just by brute force taking over real estate. And then people go, who the hell is that guy? Oh, he's the guy that owns it. Okay, I guess I know who he is. And that happens enough times, and it accumulates into everyone knowing who it is. That's what happens. That's not capitalism. You don't need to be in capitalism for that to happen. You could be famous just by being powerful, man. But so I know a lot about something I will never have, and that's a good thing, because you wanna not attain things that you know are unattainable. You want to know who you are as a person, and you want to relax your voice and stop yelling, stop talking if you got nothing to say, first of all. Okay, so let's do an update now that the episode is almost over. Here's the update on real life, what I've been doing besides sitting and listening to YouTube videos, which is a black hole of despair and information overload. Like, do I need to know everything about everything that I've ever wondered about? No. Do I need to finish every sentence with a no? Like a person in a movie? Do I need to do this before I do this? No. Do I need to do that every time for a long sentence? No. Do I need to do that? No. No, I don't. I could just say no. I could just structure my sentences totally differently. And say yes at the end of things. Do I need to do anything? Yes. Do I need to do this? Yes. Do I need to do my laundry? Yeah. So anyway, YouTube's a vacuum of information overload, and I'd rather just watch Frasier. But Frasier ended in 2004, and it ended bad. The last season is pretty bad, is horrible compared to the early seasons. It's just like, it's painful to get through. It's like slower and slower. It's like you can never reach the end of Frasier because the episodes drag on, and they're clearly, the writing is not good. So I'm glad it ended when it ended. Jesus Christ. And then I didn't watch the Okay, so we're going to end by talking about real life shit that I'm actually doing with not with my life, just with my time. Because, I don't know, my life, who knows what will happen in my life. I might have a life that involves something interesting at some point. I don't at this point in time, but I do have time that I'm spending in to do work to make nothing. I'm not making money. Can't say that. Nope. It's like another black hole where you just sink all this time in to a vacuum cleaner, and then you go, okay, I'm 2 years older and I got nothing to show for it. But I typed a lot of stuff, and I moved the mouse a lot, and I uploaded code to GitHub. It's a private repository that no one's ever going to see. And then I pulled that code to a server, and nobody cares because no one uses the product. But that's how all great products start. They start with 0, and then they continue until they have 0, but it's older. But it's like a 2-year-old app, and it still has 0 users. That's how all the good apps start. Amazon had 0 customers for about 5 years before the first customer showed up. So you just got to keep trucking along. Also, I'm the customer. That's not really legal. You can't just be the only, I don't know if it's illegal. Maybe it's legal. I don't know if it's tax deductible. It's be like, well, I'm the only customer, so the money's going to me, or did I write it off? No, you can't do that. Eventually, if you're doing a business, it has to actually have customers besides yourself. So now that we're getting into the actual technical realities of life and not just talking about Jeff Epstein and how I admire people like, not him, but I admire people that know how to grease the wheels and get places in life and make money and have an island and drink booze and get massages. I admire the lifestyle. Okay, and I don't like Trump. I used to like him, but now he's getting older. He's turning into a vampire. He's falling asleep at meetings. He's disrespecting the throne. I know you're not supposed to talk shit about the king, but you can. We have free speech here, and he's not a good king. He is a king, but he's fallen asleep on the throne. He's just talking. Okay, I guess I like him still. Never mind. So we're going to end it. So the app that I'm making, I talk a lot of shit on this podcast for years. I talk shit. I throw out these projects, these ideas that I say I'm super into, and then I never mention it again. Yeah, well, that's not the case. I actually am still working on the same exact project that I've been doing since April. And so far, it still sucks. So at least I'm consistent. So about 4 months ago, the last time I did this, I said, so I'm doing this project, it still sucks. And then 2 months later, I said it still sucked. Well, now it still sucks. But only about 20% more. It only sucks a little bit more than it did last. Because anytime you add a feature, it gets suckier and suckier. I don't know. It's good for me. I use it. For me, I value it way more than anyone will ever value it. That's entrepreneurship. That's how you become 1,000 millionaire. Not a billionaire. That's not enough to call yourself a billionaire. Inflation happened. COVID raised the dollar supply. Therefore, the dollar value has plummeted. So to be a billionaire, you got to have at least like 40 billion. So if you just have 1,000 million, now you're a millionaire. So I'm working on this app. I like it because for me, it does what I want. It helps me find options contracts that make money most of the time. And I could make a lot more than I could without it because it finds all the good ones using an algorithm and machine learning to use statistical analysis, and it puts all the good ones at the very top. So I never really miss out on a cool trade idea. I always know what companies are being talked about because they float to the top and they show up on my phone. So I don't miss a freaking beat. I know what all the cool stocks are right now, all the volatile ones that pay the highest premiums. I mean, as I should, that's what the app is about. It's called OptionsAware. You're supposed to, it makes you aware so you're never out of the loop. Does that sound corny? Yes. Do I care? No, I'm not a marketer. It's probably not, it's better than anything I've ever used before, or else I wouldn't have made it. But it's a very dense marketplace. I mean, sector. It's a very dense industry. The finance industry has a lot of people even worse than me. If you listen to their podcast, you would have been like, this guy's an even bigger douche than that other guy. They don't talk like me. I could guarantee you that. Maybe I guess the way I'm talking is pretty common actually these days. A lot of people do talk like Joe Pesci these days, and whoever else talks like this, Sebastian Maniscalco. It's actually a pretty popular accent to steal from other people. So there are other people just like me who also are in finance, but they probably did it a different way, and they did it the uncool way. They went to college or something. They got certified. I don't know. They work in a firm with other douchebags. They all talk in the same way with terminology. I ain't that. No, I'm a solo finance douche. So I'm doing it the way that no one else does it, which is probably it's better. It's better. It's not gonna. I don't know. I like doing things my own way because it's harder and more satisfying. You can't just say, "Yeah, I worked in this firm." I don't care about it. I don't need to be in a firm. I don't need to be a trader who has good performance and good alpha. No. I don't know I don't have alpha. I know what money is, kind of. I know what value is. When I see it, I go, that's valuable. I don't know. I'm not even a millionaire, man. I'm just a thousandaire. So I got nothing to say. I got no clout. And there are products that are better than mine. But I don't know about them, or else I'd be talking about them, dude. I'd be talking about them if I knew of a platform that told you of all the best options trades to do every day and why, and ones that fit your preferences. I'm sure they're out there, but you gotta do research. You gotta thumb through all these complicated charts and graphs and metrics, and you gotta know what they all mean. You gotta do your due diligence. Now this app, it does all that shit for you. No, it actually doesn't. You still have to do your own research. All it does is boil it down into a single score, and it ranks all the daily opportunities out of 90,000 possible options. It ranks them all. So the top ones are going to be ones that have hit the sweet spot of risk versus reward. So if you pick one that is at the very top, chances are it's one that people have already done a lot of research on. And this past week was a fun trade or story of me feeling like a smart ass because one of these stocks that this pharma bro, Martin Shkreli, was shorting was one that my thing said to use and to do a covered CSP. Who cares? I'm so bored of my own thing that I don't even want to talk about. I'm not a marketer. Does that mean it's low quality information? No. It just means I don't care. Do I believe in it? Yeah. Is it good? Is it something that I am totally invested in with all my time and being? And is it my bread and butter? Yeah. But do I like talking about it to nobody? No. Do I give a crap how good it sounds? No, I'm not a marketer. I don't care. I mean, yeah, I care if people use it only because then it won't be a business. It's a business. I'm not just using it for myself. I mean, I am. But I'm not just planning on using it to get rich myself like Warren Buffett. No, I want other people to use it too so they could pay me, because that's what you do if you're really smart. You sell pickaxes to these gold diggers. I don't like being a gold digger, man. I don't want to swing the pickaxe. I just want to sell it. So, that's obvious. That's like a very obvious thing to do if you're a businessman, if you're not an idiot. You don't take swings at every trade that comes. That's a totally separate subject. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the opposite. I'm talking about not trading at all. Don't take any swings. Sell a product that helps other people take swings when they feel it's the right time. So I could talk more about that, about options trading and how it's fun, but it's not easy. I mean, just because you have a product that helps you narrow it down, it's still not easy. You're still taking a risk, but it's a calculated risk. And you still got to know a shit ton about the company that you're invested in, and that ain't enough. There's still such a thing as luck. Even when you know everything there is to know about the company, you still have to just kind of believe in the company, and you might be wrong. So it takes luck. So what do I got to say about something that takes luck? Hedge your bets. That's what I got to say about that. Hedge your bets, which is what options is for. You could buy calls, buy puts to hedge your bets. You could sell calls and puts as a way to hedge a little bit of downside or upside risk. It's fun. You can be creative with it. But you got to automate it. You got to set your stop losses and set your profit targets. But this is not financial advice. It's trading advice. It's a little bit different. I don't care about your finances. This is trading. This could be paper trading that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about real life trading. Finances. I don't got no advice for Okay, here's financial advice. It's not personalized, So it doesn't matter. It's not personal. I'm not saying you should do anything. That's how you get out of the legal trouble. Just say, hey, this is not personal. This is for everybody. This is just generic advice for everybody. That's how you get out of that. So here's specifically what you should do. Okay, now that I got the disclaimer out of the way. I don't got nothing. I'm a guru. I am a guru, though. I'm a financial guru. Okay, we're almost done. Thank God. I hate this every time I do this, and I don't know why I continue, but I will continue until I'm dead because, hey, my kids have to know what I looked like. This is for my kids. I should call them one of these days. They do. I am not a good father, man. And I got so many of them with two different families. One in the Philippines, one in a different country in Southeast Asia, but I forgot about that. I don't know the name of. It's not Venezuela. I know that's not that. It's not where that's located. It's one of those other Southeast Asia countries, like it's not Laos. It's not Cambodia. I would know if it was one of those. Those are easy to remember. I don't remember the country, but I do know that I have two kids. As if one was enough, I had to have two of them. So I should call my kids. If they're listening to this, sorry, I'm dead by the time this reaches you because they don't have the internet there. They have the internet in Southeast Asia. Every kid has the freaking internet there. It's the only reason I had sex there. I think I'd have sex without the internet. Okay, let's get back to reality, man. Come on, stop talking about your personal life. Okay, your personal life. So I am a guru. You can't call yourself a guru if you're not the one calling yourself a guru. That's how guru works. That's how guruism works. Nobody calls other people gurus. It has to be self-proclaimed. So I'm a guru. No one's going to call me it, so I'm calling myself. So now we got that established that I'm a guru. Don't listen to me. Okay, well, that takes the fun out of being a guru. If you're going to say, oh, yeah, I'm a guru, but don't listen, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I'm not trying to be a guru. I'm just trying to be somebody that is here because I'm better than you probably at something that I had to say. Out of the many topics we covered, whether it was electrical engineering, physics, neurophysiology, or golfing, or pegging, or chess, or graffiti, out of none of those subjects I'm better than you because I've never done any of them. But let's just pretend I am good at what I'm talking about because that's the whole reason I even get out of bed in the daytime. Sometimes I get out of bed at night. But in the daytime, the reason I get out of bed is because I think I'm better than you. Not you. But everybody. I think I'm better than everybody at something. Or not even endorse that statement. So I don't think I'm better than anybody. But I think I'm better than some people. At 40 to 50 of the things I talked about today. And that's why I do it. Is because if I didn't think I was better than other people, I would just Jeff Epstein myself. I would just cancel my Spotify. That's a euphemism for Jeff Epstein yourself. If you don't want to say the real word because you're on YouTube or something, just say, oh man, I'm so depressed. I'm thinking about canceling my Spotify subscription. That's how you know that somebody's not doing well. I coined it here. I don't care about. You don't got to pay me royalties. I'm making enough money on my own as a options seller. I sell options and I collect the premium, and then I really quickly buy it back. Like, give me that back. As a grubby Yiddish person, like a grubby Idiot, not Yiddish person, no. Idiot. I buy it back with my grubby hands at 30% profit because it can only go up to, what's the maximum? 100%. That's right. The max profit you could get on a covered call cash secured put if you don't count what the underlying does for the cover call. If you're just talking about the option contract, is 100% of what you sold it for. So you could right away buy it back for any amount of profit or loss. So I usually set it at around 30%, 40%. And if I really don't care if I get assigned, I'll just let it go to all the way to like 75%. But usually I buy it back because I could always sell another. Campbell Soup is one that I've been selling a lot on. General Mills, I've been selling a lot of covered or cash secured puts because I'm bullish on cereal and soup. Even though one of the people that owns the company, one of the executives trashed their own brand, I don't care. I'm bullish either way. I don't care if it's bioengineered. That's welcome to the future. Give me that Campbell Soup. Give me that Pepperidge Farms, because I remember that I'm nostalgic for Pepperidge Farms. Takes a lot more than that to steer me away from a company that has good brand and it's just down. And that's my due diligence right there. That's my research. Hey, it's down a lot. Let's just go into it. So I don't care. That's very low. That's not really the riskiest thing I'm doing with my trading. I'm also doing strategy because I really want to lose money. You could so easily just wipe out a whole year of gains on one bad trade. That's why you got to set your stop losses and you take profits. Take the profit off the table, and unless you don't mind getting assigned, you should probably maybe consider taking a stop loss. But this is not I don't care what you do. My app doesn't give a crap about that. My app just ranks them. It just tells you the ranking. It doesn't really tell you about stop losses. That's up to you. And I'm done. I got nothing else to say. The app is going well. Relative to how it was last time, it's making me money. I don't care about you. I don't care about other people. If they want some of it, I'm not trying to be an asshole. They could have it. They could sign up for the beta. I'll approve them if they're in a good country. If they're in Somalia, sorry. If they're in Iran, I'm not approving you. Sorry. It's not because of sanctions. Venezuela, same thing. I'm sorry. I'm not approving you. For the beta, it's not because of sanctions. I'm just kind of racist. And then, but if they do want to use it and they're in a good country like the United States, Uzbekistan, Peru, Antarctica, that's it, Madagascar, I'll approve you. I'm not saying I don't want people using it. I'm just saying they'll figure it out. You could just buy your way into people knowing who you are. If you're successful, if you don't lose all your money, you'll just get richer and richer. If you don't die, you'll just live long enough where people go, hey, how'd you not die? Well, it's because I bought really good health care using this app I made. I go, oh, what app? And they go, it's this app. They go, oh, I'll use it. That's the marketing. Same way of this podcast where I don't got to market this. People will just go, whoa, how you... That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. No one's ever going to find out about this. Thank God. Except for my kids. I believe the country is... it's Indonesia. Yeah, that's right. Never going back there.